Should I buy a house now, given the economic situation that might be going on at any given time? Hey everybody, it's John from That DIY Couple. I am an experienced real estate investor. I've acquired over $5 million worth of real estate in the past 5 years. A question that I get a lot as a real estate investor is, should I buy a house now, given the economic situation that might be going on at any given time? You know that the past 6 or 7 months have been a pretty crazy time in the world economy for all sorts of reasons that I don't think I need to go into. The basic question is, should I invest in real estate now or should I wait? And just before we get into it, to be clear, when I say real estate in this context, I'm talking about residential homes. So primarily single family, small multifamily homes, not retail spaces, commercial spaces, warehouses, all sorts of stuff. Those have their own considerations. I'm not going to be talking about that in the context of this video. So there are constantly things going on in the financial markets and in the world. Sometimes there are blips in the financial markets that cause the value of real estate to change a lot, and also the value of equities, the stock market, whatever else to change a lot. One example that probably a lot of us have lived through in some capacity was the financial crisis of 2007. What happened in 2007 though was that a lot of people tried to predict where the market for real estate or for stocks might bottom out, like where the end of the recession or the slide in values were. And really no one was able to predict that very well. Even today, if you talk to people about when was the bottom of the market after the 2007 crisis, people might look at the stock market and say, yep, it was on this day or whatever else. But if you looked at news reports and whatever else trying to figure out what day that was, would be, nobody really knew. So the philosophy that we've adopted with investing in stocks is, because we want to hold on to stocks for the long term, we're not trying to sort of time the stock market. We're constantly investing money in the stock market, regardless of how the market does, and we're not pulling out money from the stock market, even if the market tends to blip up or blip down for whatever reason. And real estate is really the same way. Real estate can be correlated to the macroeconomic stuff going on, like the broader economy. Maybe it has a little bit of a different lag or a different response to that, but timing the real estate market, the same concepts that you use to time the stock market apply to the real estate market. So generally, I think most people agree that it's very hard to time the stock market, and similarly, it's very hard to time the real estate market. So if you said, are we at a high right now from the lows of 2007? Maybe half the people that you talk to will say, yes, this is the high point of the market, and half the people that you talk to might say, no, this is not the high point of the market, and it's going to go even higher in the next couple months or years. And if you look at the volatility in the stock market, for example, over the past 6 months, I think you can have the same response to people talking about stocks. Are we at a bottom of the market? Are we at the top of the market? No one really knows. The critical thing to know is that the fundamentals of real estate don't change depending on the broader macro market, depending on the broader economics of what's going on. If you find an investment that you like, that investment should hopefully perform well regardless of whether or not the broader economy and the broader real estate economy is doing well or doing poorly. And I'll explain what I mean by that. But first, it's important to determine what sort of investing in real estate you're interested in doing. Do you want to flip homes? As in, do you want to go into a home, renovate it, make it pretty or whatever else, and then sell it to another person, a homeowner, another investor? Or do you want to go in and buy homes that you maybe renovate, maybe not, but rent it out to tenants for the long term? If you want to flip homes, then I think you have some sensitivity to where the market might go in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months that you might end up holding the home on. But if the investment is a good deal at the time that you buy it, really your goal as an investor is to say, I want the market, say I buy the home on January 1st, I want the market when I sell on June 1st to be the exact same way that it is on January 1st, or else I'm not going to buy the deal. If you're buying the deal anticipating that the market is going to go way up between January 1st and June 1st, or you think the market is going to somehow crash between January 1st and June 1st, then in my opinion, you shouldn't buy the deal, because you're relying on external factors that you can't control and have absolutely no transparency in to determine whether or not your investment is going to play out. The same is true with a buy and hold investment. So say you're buying a property and you like the cash flow in the property, the apartments gross a certain amount of money and you have a certain amount of expenses and taxes, insurance, mortgage, whatever else. Well, if you're happy with the income, the amount of money you're making per month in profit every month, and hopefully you're making money in profit, that dynamic is not really going to change even if the broader economy changes significantly. So yeah, maybe vacancies might change a little bit depending on the broader economy. Maybe your amount of rent that you can charge might change a little bit based on the broader economy. But if you even go back to 2007, which I think was one of the most extreme economic events that perhaps any of us will ever live through, rents and vacancies didn't really change that much in a whole lot of markets. People still needed a place to live. People still needed to pay rent in the place that they chose to live. So very broadly, if you like the investment right now and you're using good fundamentals to evaluate your investment, and that's you're not anticipating that changes in the broader economy are going to be the drivers of what make you money, then that investment isn't going to change even if the broader economy changes. And I have more videos, and we'll make more videos about what it means to evaluate a property for quality and as a good investment. But if it's a good investment now, it's going to be a good investment in 6 or 12 months, even if the broader economy changes a lot. The second important point I want to make is that I think about investing in real estate as investing in the city in which the property is located. So you can think of cities in this context like a stock. So what if New York City was a publicly traded stock, or Los Angeles, or London? Would you buy that stock or would you not buy that stock? And again, I know we're not exactly talking about timing the market and picking stocks and whatever else, but if you want to think in that context, that's sometimes how I think about real estate. So for me, I buy a lot of stuff outside of New York City, and I think if New York City was a stock, would I buy the stock of New York City? And the answer for me is always yes. I would love to buy the stock of New York City because I have a strong belief that New York City is such a large, dynamic, important place in the US and in the world, frankly, that people are going to continue to be interested in living here and moving here and doing business here and whatever else. If I don't have that feeling about a city, or I don't have that level of information about a city somewhere else in the country or in the world, I'm probably not going to invest there because I just haven't done enough research in that market or in that city to make a decision about it. So certainly the value of cities can go up and down over time, and New York is a great example of how things have changed over the past 30 or 40 years. But if you have a thesis about a particular city doing well, I think the best way to invest and enact that thesis is to buy real estate that exists in that city. So when you're asking, should I buy a house now, given all the economy stuff going on in the world, my question is sort of, well, do you believe in the city? Do you believe in the thesis of the city? Do you believe that more people will move to the city, that the city will maintain its importance, or whatever else that you value in a city? If the answer is yes, then I think that the answer to your question is yes. Now is a fair time to buy real estate because, again, to my first point, you can't time the market. Who knows what's going on? And if you believe in the fundamentals of the property and believe in the fundamentals of the city, I think that you'll end up with a great investment. So in conclusion, very broadly, I think that essentially any time is a good time to invest in real estate. The number one reason why I think people don't invest in real estate is because they get sucked into analysis paralysis. They start thinking about, well, what about this? What about that? What about this? And you can compare the same mindset with the reason why people do or don't buy stocks. They might get sucked into the analysis of a stock, or get very obsessed with the performance of the company in one quarter, or the performance of competitors in one quarter, or whatever else. But the way that I got involved in real estate, the way that essentially everyone that I know got involved in real estate, is they just took the plunge. They weren't waiting for the market conditions to be perfect. They weren't waiting for the deal to be perfect. They had a set of criteria that they were satisfied with that in their mind made a good investment, and they enacted on it. So if you'd like more of my thoughts about what makes a good investment, you can review some of my other videos about real estate investing and some videos that I'm going to be putting out about real estate investing. But my main conclusion to the question, is now a good time to buy real estate? Whenever you're watching this video, the answer is yes. And I'd love to chat with you guys more about my thoughts on that. Please leave a comment. If you're a real estate investor, I'd love to hear your response and your own experience investing. But until next time, I'm John, and thank you guys so much. Oh.